concerned, I guess that's going to be an election day here in town. And local elections in March here in Palm Beach County are held by your city clerk. And I guess by statute or some ordinance, our city clerk will be obligated to be part of that process throughout the day. Therefore, we will be unable to have a meeting on March the 10th. So if the city manager or the city clerk would like to fill in any of the blanks that I've left out, I'd really like to make sure everybody's very clear on why those meetings are being canceled. And they're being canceled because the city commission is doing the work with the people in Tallahassee.
Thank you. Commissioner Boyd?
Yeah, just a couple of short things. I have had a number of comments from residents of concern about sound levels and sound durations coming from Bryant Park. And you know, I know that we always have a balance between wanting to have activities and get people together and bring people into town. And we also have residents, something that we may want to visit a little bit. It's been a flurry of commentary on that that I've received. Other question on the travel to Tallahassee, city manager, is that not part of the Palm Beach County days? And when do those activities start in Tallahassee?
I believe people start arriving Tuesday night. The bulk of the activities are on Wednesday, which is, so it's the Tuesday and Wednesday would be the time.
I thought the schedule that I saw was that things, Wednesday evening, there was registration and the activities were Thursday, but...
No, Wednesday's the big day.
Okay.
I can meet with you, Commissioner, and go through that, but
Okay.
it used to be, back in the day, it was several big days. It was quite an event in Tallahassee, because it's the first county, because everyone tries to get up there and actually do something during the legislative session, and so the opening is always given to Palm Beach County, but it's now down to that Tuesday, Wednesday window.
Do you have an answer for that?
No, I just want, I'm curious now. I was under the impression we were all going to Tallahassee. Is there somebody that's not going?
I will be going also, but not the same transportation.
Right now, I don't have a confirmation from Commissioner Zerby, so it's the 5 of us.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we need to talk about the transportation arrangements at this time? Would that be
If you'd
worthwhile?
like to.
City Attorney, can you wait, about our transportation arrangements in Tallahassee?
I think is it gonna be either a van or some vehicle,
Right.
driving up there?
Could you just educate everybody on that process and how it does not, line up with Sunshine Law?
It's the same as any other sunshine law issue, as long as you don't talk about issues that are gonna come before you with the city commission. You can have lunch together, ride in the van together, have a candidate form together, because I know that's been a hot topic lately, but the key is, if you're gonna be talking about issues, then it's gotta be a public notice meeting, so you just can't talk about issues. Excuse me, that'll come before the commission.
So do we have to notice this meeting?
In the van on the way up there?
Yeah.
No, because I'm assuming you're not gonna talk.
Oh, yeah?
My advice and direction is not to discuss city business on the trip.
Well, I would think if you have to tell us that after the length of time you've been in office, that's probably a conversation that needs to be a little bit deeper, but we don't have to notice that, our transportation,
No, you do not.
okay, we will not be in violation of the Sunshine Law.
That's correct. As long as you don't discuss city business, you will not be.
You can continue with your bad jokes.
The bad jokes, right?
Now they're a violation.
Yeah, those are
That's another kind of violation.
It's another kind of violation.
So who will be traveling together? I don't know, what are the traveling arrangements?
Well, I was just talking about it earlier today. I think I'm gonna be driving myself, so.
We were talking originally about trying to carpool, but we're working on those arrangements right now, so I don't have an answer for you specifically other than driving.
Why, because, is anybody, one of us flying, I heard somebody was flying, who's flying?
Commissioner Boyd, I
Ed.
think due to this time's schedule, right?
It, both time schedule, and I did have a concern of, at that time, what I was told was that the transportation arrangement was we were all driving up in a van, which of course, as an old graduate student, I'm all for saving money and doing the right thing, but I definitely had a concern about sunshine issues and didn't feel comfortable. I also had schedule complications, so.
Well, I have schedule issues too, that's why I'm
Yeah.
gonna drive it on myself. I like long car rides.
So you'll be driving in some form. and then Commissioner Boyd will be flying.
Okay. Any more for?
No,
Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
You're welcome. Tomorrow is the MPO board meeting. Last one we had was the group meeting where we traveled and took all the different forms of transportation, so that was exciting. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about there. MPO, again, remember the Boutwell project also went into the long-range transportation plan through the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And when we go to Tallahassee, when they ask you, when you're asking for funding on that, one of the questions they're gonna ask first is that project in the long-range transportation plan of the Metropolitan Planning Organization? And we can say, yes, it is. So just doing that groundwork, having the shovel-ready plans, making that and getting the other municipalities to vote in favor of that. It's a lot of legwork and groundwork that's already happened and taken place, so it gives us a little good positive fuel as we head to Tallahassee in regards to that project. So I'm excited. Again, we're going to be talking in the coming weeks about Dixie Highway and improvements. An alternative transportation program for bikes and pedestrians is a grant through the MPO that we're going to be looking at for improvements to Dixie Highway. There are no big sums of money that are going to be dumped in just for roadway projects there, and again, that's not city-owned roadway. So we're looking at this project that's coming in that would basically create bike lanes, slow down traffic, would put pedestrian, larger sidewalks, increase parking areas, and the city of West Palm Beach has been doing similar things in the south end of their city. So we're going to be piggybacking a study that is supposedly going to start in the late summer, early fall. And we all know that 10th and 6th, got improvements, but Dixie Highway did not. So it's really going to make a huge difference. So we need to encourage them to continue on that pathway. And remember, a lot of the projects that happened out west, when you're in a long-range transportation plan, 20 years, 30 years out for these plans, a lot of the roadway projects that they thought they would need out in Wellington and Western Palm Beach Gardens and a lot of those communities, they planned, we're gonna need flyovers and we're gonna need all this kind of stuff. Well, it's all developed now, residential. Those flyovers would go directly over residential properties now. So you can imagine people in those communities are saying, we don't want those flyovers anymore. We can make changes or whatever. So a lot of the funding that was set aside years back for those projects out west, they don't want those projects anymore. So we know, and as you all know, that pushes on a lot of people, whether they're retirees or whether they're young people, the push is on to move east, closer to the water, and become a part of a community where it's walkable and bikeable and they don't have to use that, and they're using public transportation and other things of that nature. So that push to the east now is happening. So I've asked my friends on the MPO, the other municipalities, to consider moving those monies into our communities to help improve infrastructure that really hasn't been improved in a long period of time.
I've heard you say that 3 times in a meeting, at the MPO meeting. It's like, we'll take that.
As I always say, I'm as subtle as an anvil off the tall straight building under your head. But if not, with again, those dollars, we all contribute, all of our cities contribute to these monies, and it's time to start seeing them happen in our community, as we know our infrastructure needs are many. So that's something exciting. Again, should be looking late summer, early fall, and they're going to start the whole planning process for that. So we'll have some public forums and get people's input on it and their ideas. But again, it's not under our control as a city, but I'm sure there will be some meetings as to what our community would like to see in it. So I'll keep you posted on that. Today, speaking of infrastructure, a beautiful day for the south end of our city. CDBG grant monies that went in to pave 10th Avenue South completely. Beautiful sidewalks or roadway infrastructure in areas. I won't get into it, but I feel it's been long neglected for a very long period of time. To see that roadway go in was truly special, and to see those CDBG funds used to really restore dignity and self-esteem. One of Edna Hibbel's favorite comments is by improving a community and restoring those qualities, those basic quality of life issues that making communities look good. Also the Greenway project. We broke ground on our first Greenway project, and it's completed now at, why am I forgetting the address? 9th Avenue South. And we've got 4 other greenways that are going to be coming too, including the one that Erica Whitfield won for us by doing that beautiful job in creating a game plan for these beautiful green spaces that we will be the city that other cities around the country will look to when trying to improve areas of unimproved and ever created or completely lack of infrastructure to create some beautiful changes within our community. So I'm very proud of that, and I want to thank staff for doing such an amazing job, and this is just the beginning. To be able to have 4 or 5 greenways in our city that we've always claimed to be green, and to care about those things, to actually see these models that will be used across the country for other municipalities is truly amazing, and it couldn't happen at a better time and in a better place. Thank you. Commissioner Marceau?
Yes, I was very happy to be at those ribbon cuttings today. Also, we did a ribbon cutting at Mama Jeezy's, which is our new Italian takeout, up on the north end of Dixie Highway. Great food. I think we had a great time cutting that ribbon this afternoon. Also, a few things. As the liaison to the CRA, it's my first attempt at paperless, so I have my notes in a couple different spots. Yes, Pam, you can take me off the paper. I'm working on it here. The CRA, I was happy to sit on a committee. We applied for a Catalyst grant with the community partners, and we received $500,000. And that's a great piece to bring into the community, and we'll be moving forward with that. I've also been working for the last couple months with Palm Healthcare Foundation. Recently they announced a formal launch of its newest strategic initiative, Healthier Together in a Community. We'll be holding a public forum meeting February 23rd, Monday night. And they're still working on the church to be announced, so we'll get that out this week. But that's a $200,000 grant, and we're looking for the community's input. We were one of 5 cities that were announced. Delray and Jupiter's already kicked off their Healthier initiative, and we're asking the community to come. You pick one of the 3 initiatives and move forward with it. We encourage everyone to attend that meeting, and like I said, they're still working on a location, but Monday the 23rd has been picked. We've already been designated one of the 6 cities. We've already been allocated the $200,000. We just have to pick our health initiative that works best for the city of Lake Worth, and that's just a stepping stone. It'll be an ongoing $200,000 a year, and if it works well, which they feel it will, there'll be other funding and things coming, just to work on healthy initiatives in the city. Also, street painting's coming up. Please come out and volunteer. It's one of our biggest signature events, and we look forward to it. Thank you.
Commissioner Sturdy?
Let's see, there's a little bit left. Yeah, you were cutting the ribbon, man. You have to cut your belt loose later on from that. That was really good food there.
If we all fall asleep after eating that lasagna,
The cottage's home tour was on the 15th, but that has been moved here because we have the street painting festival coming up. So Cottages, again, has had all kinds of activities coming up, and that's getting a lot of momentum and a lot of attention. So that's part of the historic preservation activity in the city, getting a lot of volunteer help too. So that group has grown tremendously. I wanted to congratulate Mr. Faust over here as the new NAPC president, and ran a good meeting there on last Saturday as he took the reins. Big shoes to fit from Mary Lindsay, but I think that that group, yeah, stilettos. They look good. And I look forward to continuing as a liaison for that group. I'll be in Stewart, excuse me, on Friday. The Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council has a meeting that week. It's going to be a little bit of a touchy one because it's one of the wrap-ups for All Aboard Florida. So if you're really interested in that, come on up to Stewart's on the Chastain campus on Indian River State College. The Taste of Lake Worth is also the Friday night, so I highly recommend that, getting around, and you can taste not only Mama Gigi's, you'll be able to taste a bunch of other restaurants as well. We had a successful meeting, I think, with Palm Tran as far as it relates to the Route 62, which goes out west and stops short. It kind of turns right around, not too far from here. So they were very interested in following up with us to increase the route to go to the beach. We're looking at the way we can accommodate the turnarounds and the stopping point at the beach. So that would be all during the week as well as the weekends. Right now it's just Sunday. And so they are very open to working with us. We went over there with Joan Malila from the CRA, and that's a very good thing that we wanted to hear. We might have to do some offset and contributions to it because of the increased amount of time and, for the buses to move, but it'll be well worth seeing how that works. Dixie Highway is really what they call as a road diet. A road diet is something there that the mayor was talking about where we try to make it much more pedestrian friendly. We add some landscaping. We take the confusion. I've sat there a few times at restaurants and seen accidents happen because it's not even a suicide lane there. It's basically stop in one of the traffic lanes to try to make a turn, a left-hand turn. And so I've known a number of people over there at DOT, Florida DOT, and they're open to that completely, which would make a huge difference from people coming in off of our corridors, off of 6th and 10th from 95, and coming into downtown. That would reinvigorate, with some possible on-street parking there, and reinvigorate people coming to those shops from the neighborhoods, so that make them much more walkable, and I think that's a really great thing. I'm so excited to hear that that's coming along. Also based on that, people have asked me up at the Fort Pierce CRA, they heard about the Lake Forest CRA, and so they've requested a meeting there because they looked at the success of the city and looked at the success of that group, to look at it and emulate it up there and say, how are you guys getting so much of that funding now? So a lot of folks from outside of the city are now looking at us and trying to see how we're doing it. Maybe we'll. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner McLean?
Just a follow-up question for you, Mayor, and perhaps Commissioner Dirty, on the Dixie Highway plans. I was glad that you mentioned that there would be, although it would be done by MPO, we'd certainly have some opportunities for input and public input. I know that, and you mentioned bicycle lanes as a possible part of that. I know that New York City has taken, and I don't know whether it would apply here or not, but it's something that I'd keep in mind, having biked on a number of occasions. Dixie Highway is horrible to bike on, the only worse is 10th, but New York City took an approach where they said, you know, you don't have to do sidewalk parking driving lanes or sidewalk parking bike lane driving lanes. You can switch the order. Put the parking right next to the driving and put the biking next to the sidewalks. So instead of having people opening their doors and catching bicycles and pushing them into traffic. So I don't know whether that would apply here, but I certainly like the idea of the street diet, you know. And I think we all saw that we're there this afternoon, and many of us commented on it, looking at the Greenway on 9th Avenue South. Simply doing a little bit, you know, quite minimal landscaping changes the flavor of it a lot. And I could see some very positive changes to Dixie Highway, and I think it would help the businesses along it.
It definitely will help the business along it, and yeah, you're right. In fact, Commissioner McGuay, we've had conversations, in fact, it was in reference to a project in Jupiter, and it was the bridge, because they've had a lot of issues with the bridge, and they had talked about different alternative bike, but something happened with that project, it got put on hold for right now, so, but they have talked about it, and they have approached that, so I'll make
Okay.
sure that I mention that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, remember, it's an alternative transportation plan, we're getting quite creative in where these pots of money are. And we certainly haven't been able to find any big pots of money for helping our infrastructure and dealing with some of the roadway needs that we have. So we get the roads as a result of some of these other types of grant funding that inevitably get to be used to fix our roadways. So we're being creative, but it's been, there's a lot of good opportunities. And I wanna thank staff though, because a lot of the groundwork that we did for, you know, whatever you felt about 2020 or whatever else, a lot of the groundwork that we did for that is the work that needed to be done for us to apply for so many of these different types of grants. And, you know, it wasn't a wasted exercise, it's actually helped position us very well for future funding. So kudos to staff. Commissioner Morrison?
Just real quick, before we carry on, a couple events coming up after street painting. Downtown Jewels Flossing event is coming up. You can buy tickets downtown. Also, Parrot Cove has their home tour coming up. You can also buy tickets downtown, and both of those events are to not be missed, so please get your tickets early.
Okay. Thank you all. Moving on to public participation of non-agended and